Ladies and gentlemen, today is March 30th, 2016, and this is the KNKL Show, episode 286. Oh, don't pay attention to that. It's 287. 287, and I am your host, Kienan Lafferty. Today we are going to be talking about the Papi visual update, and we're going to be having a good time with that, and that is right over here. This is not the official art that went into the update, but these ones are. So we're going to be talking about the work that I did for Riot Games and doing that. And this is about the time where we take a stroll down the lovely lane, but unfortunately, Facebook is going through some sort of freaking stroke right now, and the lovely lane is not working. So we're just going to jump right into it, all right? And we're going to start with a story. And it all begins with this drawing right here. So those of you know, I used to work at Riot Games full-time, and I took a couple years off to start a comic called Emma. And during that time, it was very fun. But after a while, I found out that there is such a thing as, it's actually nice to have a job on the side. And it is hard to start your own business and actually have it be profitable within 2 years. It's very hard to do that thing. So I was doing this almost just by... It's really funny how stuff like this happens. I woke up one day and I felt like, you know what? I remember right before I quit working at Riot, I was working on that Yordle unification process. And they still haven't done visual updates for any of the female Yordles. Man, I would really love to just do a fan art of Papi, because Papi was always one of my favorite characters, and I felt like she just didn't get the love that she deserved. I felt like she had so much potential to be an awesome champion. She just didn't get that love. So I said, you know what? I'm just going to do a fan art and just post it to the forum. Like I tell you guys all out there to do. It's like, you want to get noticed? Post your stuff on the forums. Sure enough, right? Posted this on the forum, and then a couple weeks later, my friend Marino, who you guys know as Iron Stylist, contacted me and said, hey, would you be interested in doing some concepts? We're actually getting ready to do the Papi visual update. And I was like, yes, that's so awesome. It worked out perfectly because I really needed another job at that point. So it worked out really good. So today we're going to be talking about the awesomeness that is the Papi visual update and all the work that went into that. So let's go ahead and get started. We'll start with Battle Regalia. And I am going to tell you guys about my cool process. A cool process that I discovered right around this point. And that was the importance of starting with a sketchbook. Starting in your sketchbook, which you can see in this area right here. And the reason why I like to do this is because it allows me to come up with shapes and motifs. Like you can see even down here, this is digital, but just coming up with like these wing shapes, and over here these are like shield shapes, or they're not even necessarily like any part of the armor, but just coming up with shape relationships to help translate over to the rest of the piece. And you can see that is being employed here. Like drawing your character from all kinds of different angles can help too. So right here, and then this progression right here, see the little changes in, say, the arm brace or the shoulder guard. Little tiny things, but it all starts with this right here. It all started with that. And then eventually we get to the final piece right there. All right, so that is Battle Regalia Papi. Let's move on to Noxus Papi. So I don't have quite as many references here, but this does bring up another important thing. And that was that always referencing the original skin, because as little as Papi was actually played, I know that there are people that actually own this skin and liked it. So the thing that was always going through my mind as I was redesigning these things was, how do I preserve the original feel of this skin while adding something new and fresh to it that will allow new players to say, hey, you know what? Not only do I like that champion, but this skin is totally redone. It's really cool. I don't even remember the old Kiss Papi. I don't remember Kiss Papi. That never existed. That never existed as far as we're concerned, because now we got Mini Darius Papi. And actually, this splash art, I did not do the splash art on this, but the splash artist that did Noxus Papi is by far one of my favorite splashes that is in the game to this day. So I still need to find out who that is. I'll probably find out who that is because I'm going into work today. I'm here in California. Oh yeah, I totally forgot to tell you guys. The background is completely different because I'm at my best friend Jake's house, and I'm on a little bit of a, not a vacation, but I'm just away from Utah right now. Going to go in and see my coworkers. I'm going to find out who made that Noxus Papi splash art and shake his hand. But yeah, this one was a ton of fun to do. Just referenced a lot of Darius's stuff. Noxus has been way more developed since, when this skin was originally created. So I had a lot better references to kind of create this armor design off of. All right, moving into Lolly Puppy. I know you guys love this one. This one's super fun. Now you might notice that the faces are all different. I redrew this face many times. It was such a pain in the butt. For some reason I could not get this face looking proper, but eventually I got to the one on the right and I liked it because it has like that nice feeling of like it's cute, but also it's Poppy underneath, and she's like ticked off and maybe a little bit evil in this skin, right? And we went like full evil over here on these sketches because everybody knows about the creepypastas that surround this skin, and I actually really like that part of the Lolly Puppy subculture. So of course I wanted to preserve that. Even just like changing up the hair, trying to figure out like little things that we could do. Maybe have more of like an armored type of thing. It was really hard figuring out like how do you do like candy armor? You know, is it like peppermints or what? How's that gonna work? So I ended up ditching all that stuff. Just went with like this heavier cloth. Gave her like that cool not necktie, scarf. Gave her that cool scarf. And the stripes look really good. Also found out how incredibly hard it is to render lollipops. They're deceptively hard because you might want to just draw a circle and then a little swirl in there and then put some stripes on it. But it's way harder than that. You need to actually think about how this thing is actually made. Like see how it kind of bumps up and then it kind of creates this type of pattern. That's how a real lollipop works. I didn't know about that until I studied it. And then taking it and adding the color and rendering it in 3D. That was tons of fun. And this Rito chocolate bar that was totally just jacked from the model and just stuffed on there, but saved some time, so we had some fun with that. All right, moving on to Ragdoll Puppy. Ragdoll Puppy was very fun. This is obviously a tribute to Raggedy Ann, probably something that none of you know what that is, but my grandmother knows what it is, and you know if she ever played this game she would love this skin. But you can see over here, this is my process. Started with the one on the top left and just kind of like going through and changing up little things. Changing up little things in the apron, kind of just figuring out exactly how close we can get to Raggedy Ann without infringing copyright and getting sued. But a very important thing, sorry if this is really loud, there's like a moving truck right next to us, but we're going to continue anyway. So something that I learned that's really cool here is, do you notice how this waistband is all divided into similar, like they're all the same size shape? And I've talked to you guys before about the importance of large, mediums, and smalls. So even in this area, do you see how now I have changed the ruffles, so now they represent a large shape, a medium shape, and a small shape. And I want you guys to keep those things in mind as you are designing your armor or designing your cloth and just anything on your character. Always keep in mind your balances between your small details, your medium details, and your large areas, also known as areas of rest. All right. Man, they got a friggin' wood chipper over here. Nice. They're like trimming all the trees. Oh yeah, and it's actually really funny. There was a guy that was like chainsawing a limb off, and it came down and it almost crashed through this window, like right here. It hit it, but if it hit with any more force, I could have sworn it was just gonna crack that thing right open. That would have been really funny. All right, so let's go ahead and move on to this. So now the next thing that I want to talk to you guys about is the difference between creating concepts and then finalizing them. So that way they're nice and clean, ready to send off to the modeler. And you want to answer a bunch of questions, such as imagine that you were a modeler and you just got this picture right here on the right. You would say, okay, this is great, but how does this actually connect in the back? Is there like a button? Does it go all the way around? Like there's so many unanswered questions, which is why it's important to be ready to render your back views. And this is a quality or a skill that a lot of artists overlook. A lot of people overlook not only this skill, being able to do turnarounds, but rendering from in-game angles, isometric views, top down, because that's how our players are actually going to be seeing these models. So it's very important. It's a very sought-after skill that we find artists that can render from a bunch of different angles, specifically top down. So keep that in mind. All right, moving on to the next one. Oh, this one's great. Scarlet Hammer. Sorry, this is probably going to get really loud. I'm going to have to speak up quite a bit because these guys are literally going to start wood chipping this entire tree. So let's go ahead and get into this. Okay, so on the left we have that is so loud. I hope that this goes through. So you can see my process right over here, going from left to right. I just start with a bunch of shapes, guys. I want you to see it's just a bunch of chicken scratches. And then we go to the right here. And then it just progresses all the way to the point where we're like, okay, that looks pretty good. Let's go ahead and finish this up. We've got a couple more to do, and then we're going to end it. Alright, so you can see over here, now we have moved into just cleaning everything up. Same thing. Rendering front, back, and a little bit of a 3/4 view on this hammer right here, because I wanted to make sure that they knew it was like a wedge shape. Alright. Moving on to Blacksmith Papi. This one was my personal favorite because I just felt like everything just came together really easily. It was a very natural skin. Really natural design process. And the reason for that, I believe, is because we started, again, with the sketchbook. Started with the sketchbook over here. And right here you can see on this left one, I think this was like the first one that I did. Oh, no. I did this one first, this one second, and then this one third. But notice how, even though these shapes are so simple, they translated perfectly to the final piece over here. Those same exact shapes translated exactly over to the final one. So I hope that shows you guys also the importance of designing in a sketchbook. Sometimes you can have perfect ideas that translate all the way through. Alright, and then of course here's our final one. Cleaning everything off, send it off to the modeler, and then we're good to go. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen. All that out of the way, we're going to go ahead and end today's show. Sorry for all the noise. I do appreciate you guys being understanding while I'm away. We don't have the usual setup. Before we go, I want to say thank you to my amazing sponsors. Thank you, Laura Bashir. Thank you, Captain Big Butt. And thank you, Chiariello, David. These guys are amazing. They sponsor me. I love them so much. And of course, my sponsors of the past. The show would not be the same without you guys. And with that, we're going to go ahead and end it, ladies and gentlemen. So, thumbs up if you like wood chippers. Thumbs up if you like the hairy face. And thumbs down if you don't. My name is Kienan Lafferty. I'll see you guys next week. And until then, you guys take care. See ya.